Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the series Wednesday. It's time to recall, let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. In the new episode, we are told about what happened back in 1990 during the annual Raven Dance. A teenage Larissa sees a boy fall from a great height and then tells the police how she saw Gomez standing by the edge with a sword in his hand. The sheriff always believed Gomez was the killer, but somehow avoided arrest. In the present day, Principal Weems opens Parents' Weekend by updating everyone on Eugene's health, stating that he is on the mend. In reality, however, Eugene is actually in a coma in the ICU. Both Enid and Wednesday are dreading the arrival of their families and fear the worst for the weekend. Wednesday quickly informs her parents that she knows all about Thing's covert mission, whilst Enid's family embarrasses her to no end. This time, Wednesday has also decided that she is going to ask her dad about the murder for which he is still accused. Wednesday also goes on to tell Enid that Weems is lying to everyone as Eugene's condition is really critical, and she says that she blames herself for all that has happened to an innocent person like Eugene, adding that she should have gone with him. Wednesday then gets to talk to her parents. She introduces herself to Enid's parents, and later on, when she's alone with them, she goes on to tell them that ever since she has gotten here, she's been attacked by different powers, and she feels like there is someone who does not want her to be at this school. Her dad goes on to say that he expected nothing less from Nevermore. As Wednesday talks to her parents, Xavier and Bianca stand in the balcony looking at them with envious expressions on their faces. It turns out their parents have not shown up at the PTM. But just then, Bianca's mother comes from behind and surprises her. It makes Xavier even more sad because he is the only one now. The scene then changes to Morticia, Wednesday's mother, and Wednesday herself in a meeting with the principal, Weems. Weems goes on to tell her that Wednesday always behaves in a weird manner. She is not nice to everyone and talks to everyone in a dry fashion. Wednesday gets pissed at this and goes on to say that this place is full of lies and mysteries. She says that everyone here seems to be lying and telling her different stories. She says that she does not want to stay in this place anymore. Weems proposes a family therapy session for the Addams family, saying their daughter has her session anyway, so it would be nice if the whole family attended that session. The parents gladly accept. Pugsley starts off the session with a question for the parents as he goes on to ask what it has been like for the parents at home ever since Wednesday has been away for them. Her dad admits that he has found it hard without Wednesday, and the parents agree that it has been torture. Wednesday ruins any possible progress, though, since she is desperate to know about Garrett Gates and Gomez's link to his murder. Morticia stands up. She gets really pissed at her and goes on to tell her that this matter has been resolved and closed a long time ago. She tells her not to bring up this topic again. She goes on to defend the innocence of her husband on the matter. Wednesday, however, also gets pissed. She gets up and storms out of there, telling her mother that she will resolve the matter on her own and will get to the truth of it. On the other hand, we see Bianca chatting with her mother, and as they talk, we learn that Bianca is not actually a fan of her mother, as mother-daughter cannot stop butting heads despite meeting each other after a long time. Meanwhile, Sheriff Galpin witnesses the odd family arriving in Jericho, but he is required at another crime scene. This time, the coroner has killed himself at the morgue. The sheriff is confused, having only seen the man happily talking of retirement a few days earlier. They cannot really prove whether it was suicide or foul play, as the CCTV footage has been obscured by black bubble gum. However, the coroner has left a suicide note which explains a possible motive. As it turns out, he felt guilty for covering up and faking the report on Garrett's death. The sheriff has been waiting 30 years for a lead, and now he has proof that Gomez is the culprit. On the other hand, Wednesday sees her mother going to the cemetery. The woman goes to Garrett Gates' grave and throws a flower there. When all the kids are back at school and the families are having lunch together, Sheriff shows up and goes on to arrest Gomez. He is cuffed at Nevermore Academy in front of everyone. After a while, Wednesday makes her way to the jail to see her father. She tells him that she wants the truth of what happened 30 years ago. Gomez recounts the story in detail. It turns out that Garrett was obsessed with Morticia and broke into Nevermore to attack Gomez on the night of the dance. The jealous man picked up a sword and fought Gomez. This fight then led out onto the scaffolding where Gomez valiantly defended himself. The sword was dropped. Gomez grabbed it and accidentally stabbed Garrett in the chest. He subsequently fell and Larissa witnessed the death. Wednesday, however, isn't entirely convinced by her father, but agrees that he is a good man and a great parent. Wednesday then visits the sheriff to fight in her father's corner, although Galpin already has a signed confession from Gomez and adds that her father pointed out the sword accurately too. Wednesday goes on to point out the odd timing. The death of the doctor in the morgue happens the same weekend her parents come to town. It all seems a little too coincidental. She tells the sheriff that she does not like these odds at all, but the man goes on to tell her that the world is not going to follow what she likes or not. She then asks about the DNA results, and the sheriff tells her that the claw and the bloodied rag are inconclusive. The results are negative because no match was found. The sheriff brings up the black bubble gum, and Wednesday tries to deflect, saying that this is all just a distraction. Before she leaves, Wednesday tells him that she is going to find the truth of everything. She later on sits with her little brother, who is really scared, and goes on to tell her that he is the only one who can save their father now, adding that he knows his father is an innocent man. Fearing Gomez's incarceration will only further tear the family apart, Wednesday tells her little brother to be brave. Meanwhile, Enid's mother worries that her daughter hasn't wolfed out yet and wants her to attend lycanthropy conversion camp, whilst Bianca's mother wants her to use her siren skills to bring in more followers and cash at her own little cult. Eugene's mothers gather to care for their poor child and thank Wednesday for her pleasantness to their son. Wednesday then goes to see her mother and asks her the truth behind everything. Morticia gets nostalgic, hiding in Nightshade Society's secret lair. Wednesday admits that she rejected the Nightshades and is tired of living in her mother's shadow. She goes on to say that she knows that her mother sent her there just to be her shadow. They then go on to talk about Goody Addams, who happened to be the founder of the society. Morticia then reveals that Goody Addams ended up killing Joseph Crackstone. She then confesses to Garrett's murder. She then describes the whole scene, and it turns out she killed the man and Gomez took the fall. She describes how Garrett was going mad and he could have killed Gomez if her mother had not interfered. She says that she picked up a sword, and this is when Garrett came running towards her, and the sword got sliced into his body. After that, Wednesday's dad took all the blame, describes how Garrett was foaming at the mouth, practically feral that night, and Wednesday says he must have been drugged. She says that the only way to find out what actually happened to him is by digging his grave. The mother and daughter are hell-bent on somehow saving their man, so both of them right away go for a late-night grave dig and uncover Garrett's corpse. They take one of the man's fingers to run some tests on it. They get what they came to find, but end up getting arrested. Both of her parents are now behind bars. Wednesday, however, has enough evidence to get them all out of jail regardless. When Wednesday goes on to touch the finger retrieved from the grave, she sees a vision in which it is then revealed that Garrett was poisoned with nightshade, which caused his animalistic behavior. She then sees another vision in which she sees that Garrett and his father wanted to use that poison to kill all the Nevermore students. The vial of poison smashed whilst he was going to Nevermore to finish off the outcasts, but he saw Gomez and Morticia together. Since he really liked Morticia, he lost control and started fighting. While fighting Gomez, the small bottle of the poison broke and got stabbed into his body with all that poison. This is what caused the self-inflicted poisoning. It is now made clear that he actually died of his own poison and not with Morticia's sword. On the other hand, the sheriff gives both Morticia and Wednesday a warning and lets them go. Wednesday and Morticia right away take this evidence to the mayor, who was also in on the cover-up. They ask for Gomez to be freed and for the sheriff to apologize. The mayor goes on to tell them that Garrett and his dad were against Nevermore because they thought these people have looted their ancestors' land from them. He says that he did not want a fight between the outcasts and the residents of the town, so he made a false report back then. The mayor goes on to drop all the charges against Gomez, and he is now out of jail. Gomez becomes a free man, and Wednesday has a heart-to-heart with her mother. They talk about her new powers. Wednesday shows real vulnerability and asks for advice. Morticia says that she had positive visions because she was a positive person, which she refers to as a dove. Wednesday has a darker temperament and is therefore a raven. She needs proper training from the undead to hone her powers. Wednesday asks if Goody Addams would be a good choice, but Morticia warns her daughter to be careful of that particular ancestor, as she let her thirst for vengeance consume her. On the other hand, Enid rejects the conversion camp offer and succeeds in standing up against her mom's controlling behavior. Although Bianca accepts her own mother's proposal in order to keep her true origins from her classmates. The families then say goodbye to one another as the weekend comes to an end. Morticia's parting gift to Wednesday is the simple advice for her to walk her own path. She passes her daughter her old yearbook, which she has been leafing through all weekend. Wednesday realizes the clues were right in front of her all along. Weems is a shapeshifter, and she covered up Rowan Laszlo's death. She confronts the principal, who denies it at first, but then quickly accepts the accusations. Their conversation is interrupted by a ruckus outside, though, and it turns out someone has written "Fire will rain in flames" on the ground. And with that, the episode comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get more recap video of Wednesday.